All right, hello. New video. Um, as you may maybe already figured out, this is maybe not going to be so much about the game itself or inside the game, but rather outside the game, in the form of this spreadsheet. Um, so yeah, I do have two footages actually. I did some recordings last night with GS in what's it called, COS. Clash of Swords, just to try out the different rotations that I had and that I wanted to try out. But that's about it. So in this video, I just want to show the spreadsheet. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I want to show show the spreadsheet basically, and because it's kind of done now. Well, it's never going to be done, I guess, but it has all the categories or whatever, the tabs that I want to include and share. So let's just start off with these class tabs here. I'm obviously not going to talk too much about it because you can just check it yourself. But I just want to say that these are obviously not set in stone and they will change a lot depending on certain things. Like, for example, this gunslinger rotation here. Um, it's going to change depending on your CDR. Like, my rotation doesn't really look like this anymore. So don't, like, take it just as for what it is. You have to, like, just understand the sub rotations within the actual rotation, if that makes sense. For example, if we look at the fighter one here, what this basically means here is that you obviously want to keep up the stacks, for example, as a fighter, the flurry stacks and so on. So I think that's important that we understand, so people don't just blindly follow this. And then of course there might be stuff that I haven't found out yet or whatever. I mean, on the last fighter video, there was some people thinking that I could do more damage or whatever, and yeah, I probably could. I mean, I failed on my rotation first of all, and I also uh, I, there's probably something I don't know about rotation. I mean, so yeah, don't just listen to me blindly. That's what I'm saying. Do figure things out yourself, but use it more as a comparison, I guess. Um, and also something that some people maybe don't understand is that I'm obviously doing my tests while being alone and using the same, like I'm using Caesar as an ally even, because that's just what I normally use, because we don't want to like put too much like RNG into it, I guess. So well, that's actually not the reason. I'm just making shit up now. No, I'm just using the same because I'm fucking lazy. That's actually it. Um, what's important is that we use the same setup for each test. That's what actually matters. So it would be a fair test, right? Not that it's not about how much damage we do or whatever. Because I see people, they can do more with my rating, blah blah blah. Well, good for you, I guess. That's not the point. The point is to pit one rotation or setup against another, and then figure out what is the better from that. That's actually what's interesting here, and nothing else. Um, I was thinking of actually trying to see how high I could actually do as a GS, but I fucked up on like the second uh, like test, so I had to use my third one as well. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm gonna show you that later. Spoiler alert: the new rotation that I tried kinda won, but it wasn't as actually. I can actually talk about that now before we look at the next thing. Actually, I tried my normal rotation. You know how that looks. Actually, let's have a look at it here. There we go. This thing here basically used the laser beam on cooldown together with Scorch and also stealth. I tried going without it, but only using, because I know some people argue that you shouldn't use the laser beam at all, and I disagree until you can actually prove me that the laser beam is shit, which it isn't if it's combined with Hawkeye and all the cooldowns, because then it's gonna do amazing damage, like probably more damage than anything in the game. It's just crazy, and that's what I was doing. So I was only using it every 2 minutes. And outside of that, I was not using it. Some people have also suggested that, or I mean, I agree with this. Is of course that you should animation cancel and use your pulse bomb on cooldown. The problem with this is when you get a lot of the CDR, it's going to be like the room or the window of opportunity to swap the page, use another skill, do two normal attacks, then swap back to use the next pulse bomb. It's going to shrink that window because your cooldown is going to be a lot faster on pulse bomb. Mine is displayed as 3 seconds in the game. It's less than that because the game rounds up to 2 point something. I haven't actually checked that in like a proper recording actually. But yeah, it's less, so it goes pretty fast. So I just had some trouble to actually swap over and do that. So it might be for me personally just easier to just go with using the pulse bombs, and maybe try to animation cancel wherever I can do it, but not like on every shot, even though it looks really smooth when some other people have done it with like less rating or CDR rather. It looks really nice, and you should do that, I mean, because it's obviously better, but yeah, like I said, higher CDR doesn't really allow for that much. There's also one thing that I heard that you could actually animation cancel using the the laser beam, the particle cannon. I haven't personally like fiddled with it too much because I mean, if you're derping on it, then you might just waste time standing there and channeling it instead. We don't want to do that. We just want to like trigger it and then stop. So I haven't like found a good way, but yeah, just check that. Um, but anyways, let's just continue on the sheet. The first thing I want to show is obviously this Drac thing here. I know that we already have this, but I just want to show it now that I'm actually sharing the whole sheet as a whole. So yeah, all the Dracs, it's pretty universal, honestly, in terms of what's I had separate ones for each class, but now I just made one big one with everything. Here are the kind of suggestions, or rather the ones I would like to have if I were whatever class, the yellow ones. But there are some things that are not set in stone, obviously. Some things are very close to each other, and some of them are very. We haven't tested them, one thing that we did test, however, is Nidog's Roar, and it doesn't appear to be able to proc more often than one. Like there's a cooldown of 1 minute on it, just like some of these other 60 seconds cooldown. It appears to be the same for this. However, it can proc together with Odin's Wrath, for example. So those doesn't like share the same cooldown or whatever, which is both good and bad, I guess. I mean, it would be nice if those same effects would actually, you know, um, share the cooldown, because then you would have to choose one of them, right? And then you could kind of mix and match a little bit more. But uh, yeah, so there's that. What else? I'm currently on the lookout to test something on this guy here, Hermit of History. So if anyone has that, I would love to know, because basically the test what I want to do is on China, the Wolf scheme, the 4 set bonus gives you a shield. That shield will soak all the damage. Or for example, you get the shield on you that soaks 360,000 damage, and then I'm coming there and I'm shooting you with a pulse bomb, 1 million damage, boom. My whole hit is going to be soaked, not only 360k damage. So it would not do, 640k on you. You would actually take 0 damage. I don't know if that actually works on here. I haven't tried it because I don't have it myself. I will try it once I do get it. I did, however, try it with the Assassin S3 talent. Didn't work, or rather, it works as it should. Also, we did try it on Party Luminous, and that shield also does not soak all the damage. Haven't tried it on Shimi, but I would assume that's the same thing there. However, this one here, maybe it would soak everything. I don't know, has to be tried. So that I'm personally very interested in. And if that works, this one would actually become very good, and I would say a little bit better than the stone skin, because that's basically 20% damage reduction versus 15 plus that shield. That would, of course, as a non-BM, you could argue that maybe this would be nice to combine with that one as well. But then again, I would also like to try Guidance of Fate versus Dark Knight Impression. Just to kind of figure out. What I was thinking here was that it would proc every 2 seconds, because they put like a little limit there, so it can't proc more often than 2 seconds. But that's apparently not the case. I think it's still good, definitely, but not as crazy as I thought it could possibly be. So there's that. Right, and also a picture showing the EX page with someone who have Ancient Tyrant equipped. However, someone did from my club actually did ask someone on the Chinese servers to find someone with this, and they couldn't find anyone. So maybe it's not even implemented in the game. I don't know. Would make sense, because we don't have 9 tier legendary Dragon Lord effects, or 9 stages of Drac effect yet. So that could actually make sense. That is not implemented, because it would be kind of weird to, I guess. Well, it's still. I would still want to know, of course, if it existed, because you could still get ahead a little bit. Which brings us to the next page, EX. So I just listed down all the EX effects here. So how this works is that you just look here. Okay, we have Scorch. It has a say a 45 seconds cooldown. Okay, then we check per tier what extra thing you get. So for example, it's a flame explosion around the character. Okay, we get that. That's just the initial thing, you know what it does, honestly. And then here we see that the cooldown is changed to 30 seconds, down from 45. Okay. Then we see here on tier 3 lowers the dual defense of the enemy by 20% for 10 seconds, and we also still retain the previous, you know, effects, and it just goes like that. I think it's pretty nice, so you can just see. I just hope it's easy to read, because those lines are a bit annoying to look at. I don't know if I want them there. Well, I'll keep them for now, but anyways, this is just really nice, because then you can know, you know, and also these little things here show the EX, sorry, the Drac, how much it adds to each of them. Um, yeah. So there's that. Mm, worth noting is that Scorch only has +1. Well, most of them do only have +1 on the orange Drac. However, there are exceptions to this, and that is Creed. It actually gives +2 to that one, despite only having 7. Sorry, not Creed. It's a tier 1. Yeah, Thunderclap. Sorry. Wait, what? Okay. Tyrant's Eye. Excuse me. Tyrant's Eye actually has +2, even though it only has 7 levels, which is interesting. But there's that. So now you can just see and pick one that you like. I mean, PV, I prefer Scorch, 30-second cooldown, 10 seconds uptime of PDA, or like the damage reduction. I like that. PvP, I do like the Holy Judgment. Alternatives for PvE would actually be either Royal Fire or where is it? Thunderclap, actually. If you're going into COS, you know, and there's like a lot of people in there, because that's actually how you're supposed to do it, not like alone like I do. Then you could have other people going with like the weakest people, I guess, if you can put it that way. You should probably just use the Scorch and then buff up the rest of the guys. Maybe make a little rotation even, so you can ensure that uptime is 100% on that 20% or dual defense reduction. And Thunderclap is actually pretty interesting, because on stage 3 it does add an electric discharge effect to your attacks. I don't know how much damage that actually does though, but it's still interesting. What is also nice is that this is kind of fire and forget. You just apply it and then you keep doing your thing. Royal Fire has a little bit longer animation, which I'm not a super fan of personally. But yeah, so you can just see here what you're actually getting from using or not using the Drac, and kind of go from there, I suppose. Like for example, tier 4 is kind of whatever. It's not going to make a difference for you on Clash of Swords. That is nice for PvP though, if you can catch people in it. But yeah, but this one might actually be nice. And then Royal Fire, for example. I mean, see here, yeah, it adds a little flame dot. You know, you can use that. And later on, it's also going to do, you know, the dual defense, just like the other one. However, it has a higher cooldown, though, so I don't know if the trade-off is actually worth it. We could calculate it, but I'm too lazy for that right now. But yeah, you guys get the idea. You can just use this as a reference, really, and find out what you like and what you don't like. Also, do note that we don't know everything, and I don't want to sit here and guess. Like I said, we don't have access to this thing yet. It means we don't type anything. Same thing with this one. I kind of had to guess what effect it is. Or what it does or how it looks actually, because I haven't actually seen it, and we also don't know how much they give. I can obviously assume that it's +1, 2, 2, but you never know, so I don't want to just pull numbers out of my ass. So there's also 2 question marks that I have that's quite interesting. The first one is on, where did that go? Here, Scorch. On tier 6, it says that fire attack is increased. I don't have the tooltip in front of me now, but you can read it yourself. I'm unsure if it's the enemy's fire attack or it's my own fire attack that goes up, because it worded really, really badly. And you never know, because there's another one that also... There's 2 other ones actually that kind of works against the player. Is it... I think it's Tyrant's Eye? No. Which one was it? That makes you deal less damage. It was some kind of vortex thing going on there. That makes you deal less damage, but also take less damage. Which is kind of weird. Let me see if I can just find it here. Is it vortex? Movement speed, Well, whatever. You get the idea. It was some kind of wind thing that goes around your character. Maybe it was Dustbuster then. Yeah, here it is. AoE damage of all magic attacks prevent them from entering the AoE, as I understood it. User damage, which is you, the caster. Damage taken is reduced by 40. That's nice, but also the damage dealt is reduced by 30. Okay, and also this also happened on Judgment. We haven't tried it obviously, so we don't even know what it does. But or maybe China has it. Not sure actually, probably not. Anyways, so Judgment. Right. So basically, it's an AoE zone, and if the enemy has less than 10% HP, they will die instantly, no matter what, you know. So you could like one shot, or not one shot actually, but you know, if I have 9% HP, you could use it on me, boom, even though it's millions we're talking about. So that's pretty cool. However, what's interesting on tier 8 here, if the player, like which I assume is the user, if you have less than 10% HP, you also die, and that's a pretty bad deal for tier 8. Why would even have that? I mean, you don't even want tier 8 there. So, I don't know what they thought there, but that's how it looked when it was worded anyways. Moving on, we have Deep Talent Calculator. Okay, I'm super excited about this thing because, yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a calculator. So what build do we actually want to use? Yeah, let me just show you. Grab the GS here. Everything is coded, by the way, so you just have to type in a number in the yellow boxes. So let's go with target weakness. We like that. We want this one. We want this one. And we want that one. And then we want this one, for example. And okay, let's actually go like this and like that. Make a PvE build here. Oh, and now we see we need 25 talent points for this, which means we're in the blue section, which means we're obviously above the green. That means we need to be at least level 90, and yeah, it goes up to level to 30 points there. So yeah, pretty neat if you ask me. There we go, 28. Where do we put the last one? I don't know, but yeah, you get the idea. So we can make little builds here, or make a PvP build, for example. We obviously go like that. We can go like so. Move that one. Oops, we have a little bit too much. We'll do it like that. And yeah, I like this personally. Really nice. I think we're gonna wait a little bit and make another video about an interesting PvP build that I was told from a friend that's from the playing on the Chinese servers currently. I was gonna do a shout out actually. Let me see. Who am I going to refer to? Well, Xskyler Grey, that's the name he's known as here at least, or that I believe I'm gonna do. But there was also another guy. So actually, let me save you that, and I'll do a proper one in the next one where I actually show off the build. The deep talents will be like this though, but there's a little bit more to it. So there's that. I also added 1 second. Let me just remove all this because this is the one you are going to have. Right. Yeah, so I added SD everything. This one here, internal joke, that is the Reaper class, or Nightmare, or Skyte, or whatever you want to call it. That's that one. I just went in with and translated stuff. This is what was like given back to me by the translator. So yeah, it's obviously not like the trees are ready to go. So we just need to actually have it properly translated, or air quotes properly. To global, and then we can actually fill it in, which I will do. And here is that new class, whatever the name is. I'm just calling it number 7 for now. And yeah, you know this one. You've probably seen it before. It's just the allies. What do they do? What do they? What their passives, EX specials, ultimates are. And just a little tooltip as well that I personally found very interesting. And here's the setup I'm personally going with. You don't need to copy that, but that's one I like. But yeah, just a little reminder for myself, basically. But yeah, I don't think there's more to say about the sheet. But yeah, one last thing actually is up here. I want to have you guys go up here and just make your own copy. Here, make a copy. Click that, and then you can just edit it and do whatever you want, because otherwise your talent calculator kind of won't work and stuff. And do note that I also locked stuff here, so if we try to do something in here, you're going to get this thing here. It's more of a safety thing, because you don't want to like fiddle around too much with it. I mean, you're only supposed to do the boxes. There's nothing else to actually change, kind of. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave you with the test then of the GS. And what else can I say to round off here? Oh yeah, sorry, commercials. There are going to be some commercials here now because we do have 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome, by the way. But yeah, what's not so awesome is that we have some commercial or ads. But you know how it works. I don't think I need to touch on that. So, the more of those you watch, the more you support me. In return, that I give you these things that seems to be rare nowadays in this game, anyways. So yeah, just help each other. What else you can do is also obviously subscribing and liking and sharing the whole thing. And yeah, one more thing, Fighter. I said that I was done with Fighter. I'm not going to do this, but I had someone being very persistent that I'm talking to regularly. That Fighter is not as bad as I thought it was, so I'm not going to give up on it just yet. Um, as my current understanding stands, though, I personally will only use it because I have so high rating. If I didn't have this kind of rating, I probably wouldn't use it for ladder or. But I do believe the kill speed of it or the burst would actually pay off anyways. So there's that. But I need to dig a little bit more into that one before I could actually release something more or whatever, do some testing, maybe pit it against the GS. I still believe it can't actually beat the GS in PvE or like in a long fight. But like I said, I'm gonna use it for ladder mainly. I guess that's the only game mode in the game that's competitive, or if you can call it that. I mean, rating factors and other shit aside. But yeah, that's kind of what matters, anyways. To me, anyways, in this game where I would actually care. I think competitive is actually probably the wrong word, even though how to say the outcome of competitiveness is still there, I suppose, but the fairness of competitive gaming is probably not very present, considering ratings kind of decide in the very end, you know. But yeah, there's that, and I hope you enjoyed this little different video, and see what else we're gonna make next time. Feel free to write if you want me to make something. I've seen one of the suggestions was to make similar, class videos for like other classes that I necessarily don't play. No promise. I do have a lot of studies to attend to nowadays, but if I get the time and if I feel like it, I might do it. But I'm not gonna promise that. Like the classes you can expect stuff from is mainly GS, obviously. Maybe BM, maybe Fighter. The likeliness are pretty high for those. But for the others, I mean, take Sin for example. There are other people that are more able than me and know Sin a lot better than me. So it doesn't make sense for me to dive into that, I suppose. Then we have SD. Well, you know what I think about those. Sadly, for those of you who play Guild Wars, I kind of wish that SDs would have a more useful role, I guess you could say, like a Mesmer, for example. But that's really, they're not designed like that here, which is kind of sad because I would love to see them. Actually, I can actually tell you just before I go, but yeah, the way a Mesmer works, as far as I remember, I played it a long time ago, is that the better you play, the higher uptime of the things that you are giving is going to have. So if you're a bad mesmer, no one will want you, rightfully so, and you're useless. If you're a good mesmer, however, you are a mandatory addition to any group because you will add a buff that will increase the attack rate or attack speed of everyone, which is really, really, really amazing. I mean, attack speed is like one of the top attributes in games. I mean, WoW or whatever it could be. If you like have a trinket that increases your attack speed or whatever it could be. I mean, that's like gold, right? So that's what they do. So and then the better you play, the higher uptime you have, or rather the least downtime possible. For example, let's say the maximum is let's say the cooldown is 60 seconds of all this stuff. And if you play really good, you would have 50 seconds uptime. That means you only have a 10 seconds downtime, which is awesome. But if you're a bad player, you might only keep your stuff up for 10 seconds, meaning it's kind of useless, and you might as well bring something else that actually adds something, or you do more damage having a high damage class. Sadly, SDs doesn't do that here. I mean, they add a little bit of CDR, and it's nice if you clump them up, though, I suppose. For example, if you bring like a bunch of SDs to keep uptime in COS, but that's a bit niche, though. Like in a normal 5-man group in a dungeon, for example, you might as well just bring 2 DSs or whatever, or a fighter or something that actually deals damage, because it doesn't really do that much. I went into COS with 1 SD, for example, and that didn't really do much. So, also, of course, some would argue that, oh, well, they have CC. Yes, they do. But then once you have, what's it called, super armor and stuff, it's not that relevant anymore. The meta isn't 5 BMs, thankfully, in ladder yet, at least not in EU. So, but if that would even be the case, then they would be completely redundant. So that's kind of stupid. Maybe they should add so they could actually remove super armor or something, or more super armor dispels in general. I think that would kind of even out the field a little bit. Um, but yeah, well, we'll see about that. Maybe it comes in the future. I don't know. Haven't actually checked. But thanks for now, and yeah, see you next time. See what we can do. I'm probably gonna do like a gacha video, this new stupid event here to get that Dragon Tier thing. So maybe we can do that as well. I don't know if people want to watch that. Others, spending money, but well, I think it's pretty popular, honestly. So I'll probably record when I do that. But anywho, talk to you guys later, or yeah, see ya. Bye. test is done. Not a lot to say, honestly. Left side, we do have the old rotation that I usually use, the one that's in the spreadsheet as well, using laser beam on cooldown together with stealth and scorch. The right one, that's the new one, which is like a combination of only using laser beam um, during Hawkeye every 2 minutes and then not touching it basically. Um, it's really hard to say. It's really close. I would probably I'm probably gonna start using the new one though. To be fair, it's a lot more convenient too because the laser it's not always super convenient to do that thing and spool it up and then your target just runs away whatever. So I'm probably gonna start not using the laser beam, or rather stop using laser beam unless I do have all the cooldowns up actually. Because the loss doesn't seem that great, and you can fail it or shit can happen. So the point where I would use a laser beam regardless would be if there's like a big AoE pack, for example, then it could be nice. And obviously that you're sure to hit them all. So I guess that's the summary of this thing, really. It's pretty interesting anyways, though. Because, I mean, we have tried not using laser beam at all, and we've been also using it normally, and here's this. So I think this is gonna come up out on top, actually. But yeah, anyways, let's see what we do next here. Should be a probably something fighter related, honestly. Anyways, take care, guys, and let's hope I get the motor and the dragon tier soon, so we can have a video of that as well. Uh, did some rolls today, no luck sadly, but let's see. Can always hope. Anyways, see ya.